here's an interesting way to take advantage of hue saturation when you want to adjust the saturation of part of your image. Now, first of all, I mysteriously have a color sampler on there, so let me just remove that so it doesn't distract us, because we don't really need it there. I don't know why it was there, but who knows? Doesn't really matter. So we're going to add an adjustment layer. Now, you could do this with a regular hue saturation adjustment, but I'm going to do it this way with the hue saturation adjustment layer. And it's going to be a challenge to find room to put it, but I'll stick it down, well, here is about where I need to do. So what I want to do is make the blues more saturated. Now, I could just simply go in here to blues and try to pull the saturation slider, and that would probably work relatively well. But take a look down at the bottom, and you'll see as soon as I chose blues, these indicators down here said this is the range of tones that I will be adjusting. Now, I could go in here and just pull these and try and make more of an adjustment, but it makes more sense to do it on the image itself. Now, I'm going to move this up here so it's kind of out of the way, but keep your eyes peeled on this area right here, because what I'm going to do is just take the eyedropper. I'm just going to simply click in here to say this is the range. So I'm going to hold down the shift key and just kind of click in different areas of blue. I can even click and drag a little bit, and as I do, I'll even come up here in the sky. You'll see it's going to dramatically adjust the range of colors that I'm going to be adjusting. And you'll see now at the top it's actually changing the name because I'm editing more than simply what I had originally chosen. So now if I pull the saturation, and I'll go really dramatically overboard. Let's move this out of the way for a second. And you can't see these, of course, but I'm going to turn the preview off. So here's my original photo, and here's now. Notice how it's really affecting the water, a little bit of the sky, and not the trees at all, because of the way that I expanded the range of colors that I'm working with. And again, of course, because we've done it as an adjustment layer, we can always go back if we decide we don't like it, double click to change it, or use the layer mask to make it to hide some of the areas, or even lower the opacity a little bit to lower the effect so it's not quite as overly dramatic. Now let's take a look at another example of the same thing. Now here's even probably a more practical reason to use this kind of command. Is when you want to change the color of something like my car. I want to just change it without having to go and do a big selection and so on. Well, here's what I can do, and this is a kind of a cool example because it's not one of the built-in colors. It's kind of red maybe, but just to show you it doesn't matter, I'm going to choose green, and then all I do, as like I did before, is take the eyedropper, shift, drag all around it. Now, to see if you're getting good results, one of the things you can immediately do is just pick some obnoxious other color, and then you can start to see the areas that are missing, like in here. You see as I shift, drag across them, it's just expanding the range of colors that it's selecting. Now, I chose a very odd color change, but as you can see, it does a pretty good job. Now, there's still naturally, because of the reflection of the sky, but that looks pretty natural as it is right there without any major problems. So what I would do to finalize this, not that I really want my car to be that color, but just take a look and see, for example, it's also changing the color of the painted line on the street, which I may not really care about, but if I do, of course, that's where once again I could just do a quick little masking job on that part to make sure it's not being affected. So by showing and hiding that, you can quickly see what areas are being affected that you don't want to, and as before, you can always go back and change it. So it's a pretty easy way to change the color of something using hue saturation and those sliders without having to make any kind of selection. Well, as you've probably already guessed, there's just so many ways you can use this anytime you want to either slightly or quite dramatically change the color of something. Gosh, I'm suddenly not feeling so well, or maybe I spent too much time in the sun, or I'm feeling a little chilly. I just don't know, but the bottom line is you can use this technique lots of different ways. It's very, very exciting. My name's Dave Cross. I shall see you next time.